Hello there, my beautiful Sagittarius signs. It's Rachel with Dark Knight Coaching. Today's video is a traditional Celtic cross spread where I pull a bunch of tarot cards, about 10 or 11 cards, and some clarifiers. And then I also pull a bunch of oracle cards for you at the end just to see what other guide messages your guides and spirit has for you. So this reading is for Sagittarius, but it can be for Sun, Moon, Rising, or Cross Watchers are welcome. So if this message doesn't resonate, that's okay. There's probably something small in here for you anyways, but if something does resonate, please smash that like button. It helps my channel grow and I greatly appreciate it. And there's a lot of shifts happening for the collective signs overall, but particularly for Sagittarius, and I'm a Sagittarian, so this message is just as much for you as it is for me. So strap in because it's a little bit all over the board, and cats might be significant for some reason at this time because my cat will not leave me alone while I was meditating on your energy. And the song that I meditated to today was Happy Mistake by Lady Gaga. So maybe some of you are feeling the exact same way. You're trapped in your thoughts, you're trapped in your head, you maybe feel like you're going a little bonkers. That's easy to do in a world where everything is backwards. I like to think of the Alice in Wonderland movie or book. Those are great references to the backward world we live in. And the core message, there's some kitty cat ASMR for you. The core message in the Alice in Wonderland movie and book is about mother wounds, and that's the queen of hearts. So if you go back and you really look and listen to that, you'll see a lot of very profound messages that maybe you didn't see the first time, but somebody needed to hear that. So that was for whoever. Now, your current vibe here, Sagittarius, is the Nine of Cups. This is about a wish granted. So something you've been waiting for, something you've been hoping for. It could be some sort of opportunity here because that's what's challenging you right now. This is like a job opportunity, maybe an opportunity to move. This is a tangible opportunity for something that you've been manifesting. It may not be coming in the way that you would like or how you had maybe particularly planned it or in the timing of whatever it is that you wish for, but it is coming true. So whatever you were manifesting probably around this time last year is coming into play here. Or something about Libra time frame might be significant. But definitely there's a lot of things that are going to pop up and be finalized because there's a lot of there's justice, but there's also the Pluto shift happening right now, and that is bringing a lot of closure to a lot of cycles that we've been, or a lot of things that we've been going through for the last year and a half. So with this full moon in Aries that we're having on October 17th, there's a lot of closure coming with that. And it's not just only on the 17th, it's like takes a few weeks to dissipate that energy. So that is going to be shifting a lot of things. Now, the foundation here and the situation is the devil energy. So overcoming your ego, leaving your pride to the wayside, that's going to be vital at this time. And also like getting rid of old mindsets that aren't serving you and trying to release something that maybe you've been trapped in your head about, maybe how you perceived a situation or how you had an expectation for somebody or something, or maybe whatever this wish is or this opportunity is. Now it's almost like you got your wish, but it's not exactly how you wanted it. So now it's almost like challenging your mindset, and it's challenging maybe your belief system or your ego in some way, because you're like, well, that's what I wanted, but that's not how I wanted it. And sometimes that comes with like love or relationships, friendships even. So it doesn't have to necessarily be tied to a work thing, but I do feel like for a lot of you it has to do with some sort of tangible asset, whether that's moving, a car, a loan, something like that. Now, in your past energy, you have the Five of Cups. Sorry, there's cat hair everywhere now. The Five of Cups is a card of regret. It's like looking into the past too much. It's wallowing in maybe misery or sorrow or loss and grieving something. So, the advice for you here is to make sure the past is like a rear view mirror. Like you're not going to keep staring at it forever. You just glance at it and kind of check to see where you are, check your surroundings, check how safe you are, and make sure you're aware of the direction that you're headed in, but you don't use it, constantly. It's just like You glance, you look, and then you keep going. Now, your present vibe, you had the death card, and I pulled a clarifier here as well because I was like, what's this about? Oh boy, because not only do you have the devil, you have the death. So it's some sort of ego death, some sort of dying. This could actually be, a loved one passed away. And if that's the case, my condolences. Maybe it was an animal or a cat of some sort since he's meowing. Hold on one second. Sorry, he's just needy cat. Anyways, this could be tied to an ego death of some sort, just shifting out of old mindsets and moving forward. Now, we also went into Saturn retrograde in, oh gosh, the end of June, and that's going to last until mid-November. So there's a lot of closures, like closure cycle things happening. So like if you had karma, maybe with somebody in a past life, or karma over the last 16 years, you're really closing out that cycle. So this is all about cleansing that. And I do feel like with that comes a lot of epiphanies, but it's also like you're shifting a mindset because that Eight of Swords is like all about your thoughts and how you think about things and your perception. And I do feel like that is um, being very, like, I don't want to say getting twisted, but it's getting, um, you're getting wiser because of all of the life experiences that you've gone through. And that's just basically a nice way of saying you are a wounded warrior. You've been through the ringer. You learned a lot of lessons. You're a Sagittarius. You go through lots of life experiences because that's kind of like our drive. We're always like ready to travel. We're always ready for passion. We're always ready, like we're fiery. We're ready to go. And I feel like Sagittarians usually have like the most life experience out of everybody because we're very like flighty, but we're also very like determined. Once we set our mind to something, we always kind of shoot for it and, shoot for the stars. And I do feel like that is a good thing in some instances, and sometimes it can bite us in the butt. But in the future here, you have the Three of Cups, which is a card of celebration. So you are celebrating yourself. You're celebrating the end of a cycle. You're celebrating a success. I do feel like our birthday time frame for Sagittarians in particular is very significant. So the success, the celebration, all of these shifts happening are very much so coming up on our birthday time frame. And when I'm recording this, there's like 50-ish days, 50 or 60 days till um, Sagittarius season. So there's something significant there that's happening in the next 2 months. And then you have the Six of Wands in your next card here. This is about a victory, a success. So this is like what's your power in the situation, and it's celebrating yourself. It's seeing like the trials and the tribulations that you've been through, and it's trying to like be grateful for the lessons you learned and the fact that you survived it. Like you've made it. You've gone through so much, and you're coming out very much so victorious. Now, how do people see you? They see you as the Ten of Cups. They see you as very fulfilled, very emotionally happy. Like, if you don't have like the maybe traditional family or whatever it is, they still see you as very much so in alignment with this like legacy vibe. The Ten of Cups is a great progression from having the Nine of Cups. So it is progress, it is moving forward, and people do see, like, it shows on the outside all of the change that you've done on the inside. Now, in your hopes and fears, you have the Two of Cups. This is like you're afraid of a coupling or a partnership of some sorts. Again, because of the Ace of Pentacles in your challenge here, Sagittarius, I do feel like it could be related to work or a job or a business partner situation. So you might want to just be cautious when it comes to that. But, I do feel like you are hopeful of something, but it's going to require a lot of elbow grease and a lot of wit and a lot of strategy. So the King of Wands is in your outcome, and this is a card of like having that passion and that fire and putting it into play. So it's like not only do you have like these great inspirational ideas, it's like you're actually putting in the work to attain something tangible for yourself. And I do think that is victorious. And you also have not only the Four of Wands, but the Six of Wands. Four of Wands is in your subconscious energy, which is like a positive commitment that you've made to yourself. And maybe it's just shifting out of old mindsets, or it's implementing some sort of new lifestyle change, whether that's exercise or better eating, or, picking up a new hobby, or, doing something for yourself. I do feel like that's going to be very positive at this time for you, Saggy. Now, that's what I have for you when it comes to the tarot. If this message has resonated with you, please smash that like button. It helps my channel grow, and I greatly appreciate it. If you're interested in a one-on-one tarot session, please feel free to reach out. and I could schedule that for you, or you can go to my website, you can book on there. If you're interested in a life coaching session, I do a lot of different modalities of coaching, health and fitness and wellness and dating and all sorts of things. So if you're interested in that, I can help you there. Just reach out and book through my site as well. Now I'm going to pull a bunch of oracle cards for you and see what other messages your guides and spirit has, Sagittarius. Let's see. The creator. Yeah, throw yourself into some sort of passion project. With that King of Wands and the creator here, you have a soul mission, you have a soul purpose that's very vital at this time for the human, like the collective. It's going to shift a lot of things for you, and it's going to help a lot of people. So whatever it is you're considering or trying to implement, I just think you should go strong with it. And yeah, you're really divinely guided at this time. And celebrate yourself. Don't forget to do that. Sometimes Sagittarius gets so wrapped up in like what's to come or what's the next plan that they don't even think about like what they've been through. Now, you have the I am protected card here, Sagittarius. I do feel like you're divinely guided. You are tapped in. You are more stuff about the divine. It says surrender to the divine. Maybe you need to release a little bit of something, a little bit of grief, especially because of that Five of Cups in your energy. Releasing the old patterns, releasing the old ego, releasing the old way of thinking, the old way of being is vital right now. And in doing so, you know, it's not an easy process. It's like it takes time, and it's a cycle. So it's not like you say like, oh, I'm done. Like, I'm done with that. It's just like you chip away at it a little bit at a time, like a sculpture. And I do feel like that's what's Spirit's asking you for. And it can be through your creative endeavors. So, like maybe your expression, whether that's painting or sculpting or whatever it is, maybe that is how you can release, you know, your negativity and transmute it into something very beautiful. And that's what alchemy is all about. And that's why I love, you know, to reference the butterfly, because the butterfly is all about change and shift, and it's going from this caterpillar into this beautiful butterfly, and this metamorphosis is actively happening with you because you're going through this death. And it's the death of an old way of being, the death of an old self, death of a person that was based in pride and ego, and had a foundation built on maybe trauma, you know, responses built from childhood. And I feel like you're letting that go. Now, you also have to forgive yourself. And I think this is also tied to this like celebrate yourself, celebrate your success, Sagittarius. Sometimes that's hard to do. And sometimes it's hard to do when we haven't had a proper support system. But I do think there is going to be people in your energy that are going to really lift you up. It's just um, taking a while because you're shifting. So as you raise your vibration, you're going to draw in different people and different groups, and doors will open and things will align when the universe deems it time, once you've done a lot of the healing and the introspective work and you've really leveled up. And I do think that's happening for you. Now, this card says you are able to activate the power of love in order to release the past hurts. Now, I find that forgiveness can only be found through understanding. And sometimes, you know, just because you forgive someone doesn't mean you forget. It doesn't give them permission to do it again. And it doesn't mean you have to stay in a situation that's not good for you. Now, you know, use discernment there and your best judgment to decide what's going to be best for you and what it is that you're looking for, because I'm not here to judge you. I'm just here to give you some guidance and, you know, hope that it helps. Now, the other card I have for you is Feather. If you've been seeing any feathers lately, this is just another confirmation. So it says, be honest with yourself. There's somewhere in your life where you haven't been upfront. So again, that's this devil energy, baby bad habits or something that you need to release, especially the grief or the loss of the past, or, you know, maybe even just berating yourself for the choices that you made in the past. And, you know, that's the thing about hindsight. It's always 2020. If you would have known better, you would have done better, hopefully. Or, you know, hopefully that's true for most people. Not all people, but most people. And I'm also seeing 222 on the clock right now, so that might be a significant message, but I just take that as a confirmation that you're right where you're meant to be. You're listening to this message, and it's right in alignment for you. The next card I have is Quest. Well, this is tied to your throat chakra, which is symbolized by the blue on the outside of this card because this is from my chakra deck. And this is Quest. This is also about how are you going to perceive things. So on this side, it's like dreary and gloomy. On this side, it's like lovely and great. Um, it doesn't always, you're not always going to be like everything's butterflies and rainbows. It just doesn't work that way. It's a roller coaster. There's like a 30-30-30 rule about, be happy 30% of the time, be sad 30% of the time, and then just be, meh 30% of the time. And then I don't know what happened to the other 10%, but, maybe that just ebbs and flows with whatever's going on in your life. So don't be too hard on yourself if things aren't always going as you perceive they should, because when you set that expectation of how things should be, a lot of the times we find ourselves disappointed because we can't really like go with the flow when we have hiccups or things that pop up that were unexpected, and sometimes that can be disheartening or even like cause us like anxiety where you're like trapped in your thoughts. You're like, oh, I thought that's what that was. Or maybe where you get to this wish fulfillment where you're like, oh, I had this wish and it was granted, but that's not what I wanted or how I wanted it. But you know life gives you what you need and not necessarily what you want. And sometimes that is a bittersweet gift. But if you're wise enough, you can find the lesson and the blessing in both. It just can't, it sometimes takes time to do that. And you can't always find it in every single thing all of the time. But, over time, you might understand why it is you went through something that didn't really make sense in the moment. Now, Sagittarius, this is from my Third Eye Intuition deck. It says develop. It says write down your dreams and record the date, what sort of clear symbols appear in your dreams, and by following the pattern and meaning making in your dreams, you'll most likely learn what you already know. So, our guides, our angels, passed on loved ones, and our subconscious higher selves try to talk to us via our dreams. They aren't necessarily like the clearest messages, but they can be um, probably understood for the most part when you have like a consistent log. So if you write down your dreams within the first 5 to 10 minutes of waking up, chances are you'll remember most of it very well. But if you wait longer than that, you're probably not going to remember it as easily. So we need to be in that like gamma brainwave state, and that's usually when we get like our best highest messages to help us on this journey that we're on. Now, the last card I have for you, Saggy, is Small Taming, number 9. This one says, creating success, dense clouds without rain, and come from our western altars. I feel like that has to do with this quest card. A time of restraint brings great hope for future growth and success, but it may feel more like frustration and setbacks where things don't quite work yet. You must cultivate the situation and yourself in small ways, caring for the details, developing your readiness and fitness conscientiously. What small things can I work on today, and how can I cultivate a better terrain? Again, I just feel like that's tied to this perception. Like, are you going to see things as like doom and gloom? Or are you going to see it as like, okay, this is another challenge. Here we go. How am I going to get over this hurdle? And sometimes that's hard to do. But if you have like this support system or if people are celebrating you, it's easier because then you're like, okay, somebody's paying attention, somebody's noticing me. And just having that affirmation of how you're feeling or your thought process and knowing that somebody understands or can relate makes it so much more palatable and nicer to get along in this world. So I do feel like that song Happy Mistake is very relevant. It's just like Lady Gaga really put her heart and soul into those lyrics. So it's just a lovely song. I would definitely check it out if I were you. That's really all I have for you, Sadie. Hopefully this helped. If it did, again, please smash that like button. It helps my channel grow, and I greatly appreciate it. If you're interested in a coaching session, please feel free to book with me, or a tarot reading. I can get you scheduled for that as well. And I will see you next time.